All right, welcome everybody. It's still evening time, 9/11, Thursday night, and shooting this for actually tomorrow, Friday morning. The topic for today or this evening is basically understanding more of the source and its ability to create unity of distribution of power throughout the entire body. If you stem from the source, right, it has to it has to be 100%. There is no exceptions to the rule that you can start from the source and then maybe do 90% of it, 95% of it, even 99% of it. Because at the end of the day, source to source, full 100% is what's demanded from you. And anything less means you're going to be bitched. That's the end result. So I want you to look at something as simple as motion itself, okay? When I do a motion, like let's say a bangsa, okay? I'm going to do a bangsa motion, right? And I'm not going to stem from the source, but I'm going to make it, right? Look, watch how I'm actually moving with the legs first, and then I'm going to, right, try to coordinate it a little bit better. Now, if you watch it over and over again and do it slow motion, I can kind of cheat it where if you look at the motion, it looks pretty damn good, pretty close, and the coordination seems to be exactly on the spot. But the problem is when it doesn't stem from the source, the distribution from the legs to the body and how it equally can balance the flow out from going in and out is not exactly there. You can try to mimic it, come close to it, try to fool it, but at the end of the day, someone who uses 100% source to source is going to dominate what your motion is. So, for example, here I'm leading with my feet and then see my hands, and then I'm actually stopping the motion right here. Technique-wise, actually looks okay, feasible. You can make it work, right? So if you look at that right here, boom, okay? But the problem is, by yourself, yeah, it's a little bit more forgiving. But when you run into an actual force, that's when the issue occurs, okay? That's when the issue occurs. So from a visual standpoint, technique-wise, you can get by it. And if the guy doesn't have the ability to see, you can say that looks pretty good. But now look at this motion now, right? This one, I'm like here, and then you see me set in place and do the bangsa. Here, I'm gonna go slowly, right? 100% from the source, and then boom. See, when I do it from the source, you can see how even at a slow rate of doing it, the unity as far as when I move it, when I end it, when I do from S1 to S4 is so smooth. It's so smooth. Like if this is not from the source and I go like this, looks okay. Looks okay. But you could, like I said, when I go from the source fully, boom. You see how everything kind of moves at the same time? It gels at the same time. It distributes at the same time. And at the end of the day, it relaxes at the same time. And that's the key, that when you see demonstrations where people touch hand to hand right away, the moment you touch, that formula of F to S4 to F and equals SBP, that is an instant. That's like your grade and judge at the point of contact. So if it's true 100% from the source, you'll know right away. So a lot of times you see people touch, and then you see, oh, okay, and they settle down. When someone does it from the source and once they connect, by the time you're trying to like get into place, trying to relax everything, he's done it automatically. And even if you try to do it as perfectly as you can from a technique perspective, it's still not quick enough. That's why when you practice, yes, you have to be aware of your center of gravity. Yes, you have to make sure your vertical is in place. But first and foremost, you have to make sure that the source is recognized and referenced from the beginning to the very end. It's one thing to say, I have my source and I'm starting it. But then all of a sudden, when I start, it stems from my source, then all of a sudden my focus goes to my hands, and then you see a little of this. Or it goes from the source, and then all of a sudden, you see a little of this. So it can't just be source in the beginning, source all the way to about 96%, and the rest ends up being hands or something else. Okay, like I said, there is no forgiveness for being off with doing 100% source to source. Okay, source to the shape, to the seal, and then the final motion is relaxed and comes back into the main source. Now, besides the visual aspect, when you see the breath, if the F is done correctly, you'll see almost like a movement, like a breath with it. Like if you see it's almost like a wave. You see a wave, it's like you see me wind up the wave here and then relax, okay? So if you look at that closely, from here, winding up here, and then relax. I'll do it a little bit faster so you can see. Okay, so you see almost like from the build up to the peak and then to the end where I fully relax. But that's just for demonstration, and it gives you a hint of exactly the wave that it creates from that initial breath. But notice, look, when I go from the source and I actually do the full breath, like from here, you see the full breath and the full relaxation. But now I'm going to do it from the source. Can you even see this formation at all? Or is it just the first one, you can see it. The second one is, right? I'll go a little slower. Can you even see that? If I go slower, maybe there I'm exaggerating it. But when you actually do the breath and the flow correctly, you don't see this wave. You yourself feel the wave of you going 1 and then 2. But when I do it, boom, 1. You're aware of this wave, but you don't show it onto your opponent or your partner. That's how when you know you're doing it really well, because that's you yourself know your own beat. You yourself know your own flow. You yourself know that you're stemming from the source and ending from the source. And that's why visually you don't see this settle in. In demonstration, why, yes, you see that. But in actual application, when I do it, boom. It looks like you don't even see it, but yet I am applying it. As opposed to someone who does it, stemmed from the source, but doesn't release it, you can see how that's a lot stiffer. Okay, so the main thing I want you to understand is the source there is no exception to the source. The source needs to be 100%. It demands that you do 100%, right? Until you can get to that level, you're always going to be second best. So make sure you understand from the source to the shape, to the seal, and back to the source. That wave in itself, right? That wave in itself you see, but eventually when you do it, you don't show it, they can't see it, but you can feel it. All right? Hopefully that helps.